All right, you ready for this one? 42% of people say that they avoid looking at their checking account balance because of fear over what they might see or not see. And that's pretty wild considering the average person checks their phone over 80 times per day, but also not that surprising considering a lot of Americans don't have any emergency savings. And sometimes you don't even know when a check is going to cash or when a transaction is going to post to your account. And it's that uncertainty that can cause a lot of that fear. But thankfully, EarnIn has come up with a pretty unique solution that they call Balance Shield, which is exactly what I want to focus on in today's video. I do want to thank EarnIn for sponsoring today's video and also creating this really unique feature that I'm excited to talk about and get your thoughts on because it really is a new solution to this problem. So if you do want to learn more and give EarnIn a shot, that'll be the first link down in the description. But in case you're not familiar with EarnIn, we talked about this app a few months ago, and it's a financial tool that lets you get paid up to $150 per day as you work instead of having to wait days or weeks to get your paycheck. And if you're saying to yourself right now, well, that sounds a lot like a payday lending service, then I highly recommend that you go check out the original review because EarnIn is not a payday lender. And quite frankly, I would never put my stamp of approval on a product like that. With EarnIn, you aren't charged any interest, there are no mandatory fees, there's no credit checks, and you can set yourself up to be way less likely to go into credit card debt with this service because you aren't borrowing money from anyone but yourself. Again, if you want to learn more about the platform as a whole, I'll link to the full review that we did a few months ago down in the description. But today I want to focus on this new feature from EarnIn called Balance Shield, because this can help a lot of people who are struggling financially and feel like they have nowhere to turn except high interest credit cards and more debt, which I think we can all agree is not the answer. So let's break down exactly what Balance Shield is, how it works, and who I think this product is meant for. There's really two main functionalities of Balance Shield. The first is free and includes instant alerts if your balance falls below an amount that you set between $0 and $500. So if you set your balance alert to $300, then as soon as a transaction posts to your account or someone cashes a check that you wrote that causes the balance to fall below $300, you will immediately get a notification for free. And that's gonna give you more oversight and control over your finances as a whole. Think of that as phase one, with the whole goal being to keep you from having a negative balance and in most cases incurring the ridiculous overdraft fees, which is the last thing someone in that financial situation needs. The second stage of this overdraft avoidance strategy is where the larger functionality of EarnIn comes into play. If your account falls into that overdraft range that you set, then EarnIn can automatically transfer up to $100 a day that you've already earned over to your checking account to help protect you from having an overdraft fee. Let me give you an example. Maybe you've fallen on hard times, you're waiting on your paycheck, whatever the circumstance may be. Let's say you have $50 in your checking account, but your car is almost out of gas and you still need to get to work. So to fill your car, it costs $55. Well, simple math tells us that would put you into a negative balance, which with most banks would trigger an overdraft fee that can sometimes be $35, which is ridiculous. So what EarnIn lets you do is customize your protection and transfer up to $100 into your checking account when the balance falls below a certain level. So your $50 balance with an example of a $100 transfer would then go up to $150, and you still have $95 in your accounts after you fill your car. And remember, and this is really important, you are not borrowing that money from EarnIn. This is money that you've accrued in your EarnIn account as you've worked this pay period, but just hasn't yet posted to your account because most employers only pay you every 2 weeks. So again, I say there's no interest on that money or mandatory fees, so you can keep your balance up. Literally the only fee you can incur is their $2.99 instant transfer fee, which is 100% optional, and otherwise you can just use their free standard transfer speed, which will get you that money into your account in 1 to 2 business days. Now, before we go any further, I do feel like I should pause for a second because I'm sure there are people watching this right now that are thinking, why in the world would someone not have enough money in their account to fill their car with gas? And if we can all just set our opinions aside for a second, let's remember that survey after survey, year after year, finds that a majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, nearly 2/3 of Americans report living paycheck to paycheck, according to a recent Market Watch Guide survey. So like it or not, regardless of your life circumstances or whether or not this product applies to your financial situation, this is a useful tool for a lot of people people that are just trying to keep food on the table for their family. And here's the thing, short of increasing their income, the only alternative for many people is to turn to high interest credit cards that are going to charge 20 or 30% interest, or turn to an actual payday lending service, leading to more debt and more fees, all of which only make the situation worse. Balance Shield is not meant to be a financial tool for everyday use. It's meant to be a temporary bridge that gets you to your next paycheck and ultimately gives you that little bit of breathing room so you can be a little bit better off today, make that next right decision tomorrow, and ultimately better your financial situation going forward. All right, now that we've had a nice one-way conversation about why this product exists and how it works, let's go over some questions that you might have about Balance Shield. First of all, you don't have to use both the notifications and the money transfer feature if you don't want to. You could absolutely just use this as a free service to notify you if your checking account falls below a certain threshold, or you could just use it to set up the money transfer functionality if you don't want to be getting notifications. It's totally up to you. And in terms of using Balance Shield, you just go ahead and download the EarnIn app as you normally would to use the service, then head to Balance Shield under your settings tab, set up your preferences, and you're good to go. And even compared to similar products that will transfer money from your savings account in order to avoid an overdraft, this is using your own money that you've already earned instead that is going to come into your checking account to help protect your bank account balance and ultimately keep you from drawing money out of your savings. So the big remaining question is, of course, who is this service for and should you be using it? And I think it goes without saying that this platform is not going to be for everyone, as we talked about in our original review. Obviously, if you were sitting on a pile of money and have a robust emergency fund, then no, there really isn't going to be any benefit of you using Balance Shield. But if you sometimes find yourself with a low balance for whatever reason, and you end up turning to high interest credit cards, or worse, turning to other forms of debt like personal loans or payday lenders or recurring overdraft fees and late fees, then by all means, I think you really have nothing to lose and a lot to gain with EarnIn and their Balance Shield feature. I think it's absolutely worth a shot considering you're not going to accrue any interest, and this could be the subtle but impactful change that you need in your financial life to set you on an entirely new trajectory. Because unfortunately, overdraft and late fees can really slow down your financial progress. But as per usual, that is just my opinion, and I know this can be a hot button topic for a lot of people, so I'd love to know what you think of Balance Shield down in the comment section. And if you've used this before and it helped you get out of a bind, then please tell us your story. I would love to hear about it down in the comments as well. Again, I want to say a huge thank you to EarnIn for sponsoring today's video and continuing to innovate in a financial technology space that can often feel pretty repetitive. If you want to learn more and give EarnIn a shot, then again, that'll be the first link down in the description box below. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.